What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to talk about some suspended cards from Star Wars Unlimited. Free cards have hit the ban hammer, and Star Wars don't use the word ban, they say suspended, to leave it open for the cards to come back in the future. But of course we know cards can come off ban lists, so even though I may use the word ban just because it's a word with which more people are familiar with, the word that FFG are using is suspended here. These cards are gone, but maybe they'll come back. And they are gone as of Friday in competitive tournaments, and they are the Jango Fett leader, which I think everyone kind of saw coming, Triple Dark Raid, which was my number one seed for card getting suspended, and DJ, which is less of a we need it now and more of a if we don't suspend this as well, we know what's going to happen. But let's start off with the Jango leader, Jango Fett, concealing the conspiracy. A ridiculously good leader. We've got cunning villainy, and before deployment, when a friendly unit deals damage to an enemy unit, you can exhaust this leader to exhaust the unit. So once per turn, when damage is dealt, you get to exhaust the unit. But when you're deployed, any time a friendly unit deals damage to an enemy unit, you may exhaust that unit. And the big issue we had here was a bunch of new cards from Jump to Lightspeed, which allowed this to really go nuts. Take IG-2000 for instance. It is a card from Jump to Lightspeed, and when played you deal 1 damage to each of up to 3 units. But with a deployed Jango, that will also exhaust all 3 units. That's not ideal. Worse than that, War Juggernaut. When you play War Juggernaut, you deal 1 damage to each of any number of units. To put it another way, when you play a War Juggernaut with a deployed Jango, you deal 1 damage to all of your opponent's units, and then you suspend all of your opponent's units. Essentially, having a deployed Jango out, we now have a bunch of cards that you can essentially use to just make sure everything, and I mean everything, gets suspended. And that's essentially why this ended up being a big problem that had to be dealt with. It stops your opponent playing a game, and that's not really what we're trying to do here. And yes, I know there are plenty of counter cards and control decks out there that can stop your opponent playing the game, but essentially now it's gotten to the point where this went a little too far, especially when we combine it with another card we're going to look at in a moment. And so I figured, all right then, let's just look at the results. We've had 3 sector qualifiers over the past couple of weekends. I casted one in Liverpool. The final, by the way, should be online tomorrow on this channel. So if you want to check that out, please do. I think Ben and I did a decent job casting it. But the point is, the first one in Milan, 7 of the top 8 were Jango. There was a Piet which snuck in there, but after the 2 sectors this weekend, I think we've all realised Piet's fun that we saw one in top 8, not really a Jango counter. And it wasn't quite so bad this weekend. You know, in Liverpool, we only had 3 in the top 8. But except for the final, Jango only lost to Jango. There were 2 losses for Jango in top 8. One of the Jango knocked its, Jango mate out of top cut, and the other one lost in the final. And the other thing to point out here is there were a bunch of Jango cards, Jango decks, which ended up getting paired against each other in the last couple of Swiss rounds, and they knocked each other out of cut. With different pairings, this could have been a lot worse. Now, I wasn't in Denver, obviously I was in Liverpool, but we can see that again, half of the top cut is Jango. To put it another way, there's 24 top 8 decks over the 3 tournaments here. Exactly half of them were Jango. 7 plus 3 plus 4, that is 14. Out of the 28, exactly half of the top 8 decks so far over the 4 sector qualifiers have been Jango. Jango is too good. And the reason it got too good here is essentially because we got some good new cards in Journey to Lightspeed, which absolutely turbocharged it. Now, another card that got banned that wasn't in Journey to Lightspeed, Triple Dark Raid. And here's the thing. Triple Dark Raid is a card. Now, we got it in Shadows of the Galaxy. We got it in set 2. It's not been an issue up till now. We've not had an issue with this card. It's not been looking to be banned. Why is it looking to be banned now? And the answer essentially is there are now new ships in Jump to Lightspeed that break this card. And I looked at this card when I saw it first time round, and I was like, that card is going to get broken. That card is going to get suspended at some point, and I feel really confident if this card wasn't suspended now, if the card designers looked and went, well, it's not quite right now, maybe in the future, I do feel pretty confident that future would come around. Because what we've got here is a free cost card that searches the top 7 cards of your deck for a vehicle and plays it, but it costs 5 less and enters play ready, and it goes to the owner's hand at the end of the phase. Now, going back to the hand is actually a really, really, really big deal, because take something like Ruthless Raider. When you play and when defeated, you deal 2 damage to an enemy base, 2 damage to an enemy unit. But of course, you play this with Triple Dark Raid, and it's essentially a 1-cost card. Well, 3 for Triple Dark Raid plus 1 for this. You're still getting it cheap. But then it bounces back to your hand, so you could potentially use it as a resource, or you could play it again in a turn or 2, and then you'll get that brilliant when played skill activating all over again. And it's everything about this card, but I think some of the new ships from the set really made this ridiculous. Like, take, War Juggernaut, a card we've already mentioned. This allows you to play War Juggernaut with 4 resources. 3, like I've said, for playing Triple Dark Raid, 1 for War Juggernaut. So 2 resources earlier than you should be playing it. Well, it comes down, damages everything. Hopefully you've got a deployed Jango Fett ready. So then everything gets suspended. But then you've also coming into play ready, so you can attack with a potentially very powerful attack at the same time, but then it bounces back to your hand, so you can replay it in a turn or 2, and then of course you damage everything, so with a deployed Jango, everything gets rested. Or maybe we look at Devastator, for instance, another new card from Jump to Lightspeed. It is an 8 cost, but again it becomes a 3 cost if it's played with Triple Dark Raid, so 6 in total. And it gives you a 9-power ship, 9-power space unit, which comes into play ready. And it deals 4 indirect damage, but it also says that you assign all indirect damage that you deal. So yeah, that's potentially 4 units exhausted if you've got Jango deployed. You can see where we're going with this. And the problem is, Jango's still really good with all of these new cards without Triple Dark Raid. Triple Dark Raid just supercharges it. And if you take away Jango, people are basically going to take the Jango deck and put it into another leader. And no, it won't be quite as good, because if it was, people would already be playing that instead of Jango. But the point is, it's still going to give you a very, very, very strong deck. So that goes away. So what about DJ? DJ is the 3rd card that was hit with this suspension, and DJ is a card that right now is fine. We saw it on stream this weekend in Liverpool. We know it to be a very good card, but I do think it's fair to say that right now, looking at the metagame from the 3 sectors we've already had, it's not like DJ is out there absolutely wrecking the metagame. Right now. Because you see, what DJ does is it's got Smuggle, but also it's got a skill whereby when you play it using Smuggle, you take control of an enemy resource, and when this unit leaves play, that resource's owner takes control of it. You steal one of their resources until DJ leaves play. And yeah, sure, obviously you look at this and go, we'll just take out DJ. Yes, obviously. Obviously, you take out DJ. But the point is, until you take out DJ, you're behind on resources. And you're being forced into going specifically after DJ here. And until then, you're just at a massive disadvantage. And the thing is, where this card really excels is in, well, what everybody refers to as Han 1. Han Solo Audacious Smuggler. Han 1 because, of course, the first Han leader. There's 3 now, but this was the first one. Because it's got a skill whereby you can exhaust it to play a card from your hand as a resource and ready it, and then at the start of the next action phase, defeat a resource you control. But basically, it lets you just jump ahead in the resource race, and then that means you can get DJ out faster, and then DJ gets you an extra resource, except that's like a 2-resource swing. Because you're not just gaining a resource, your opponent is losing a resource. And that's a little bit of an issue. Like, for them, it's brilliant. For you, it's definitely a bit of an issue for them. And what the card designers have basically told us is, if we get rid of Jango and Triple Dark Raid, we just expect Han to be next deck up. So by getting rid of DJ, you're getting rid of one of the most potent tools from Han 1, and you're not killing the deck. You're not making the deck unviable, but what you're doing in that situation is making the deck worse. Making the deck less of a powerhouse, because obviously when you're suspending cards or banning cards, phrase it how you will, there are going to be unintended consequences. I told you about Lorcana bans yesterday, and then I told you what we're pretty sure is going to now be the best deck in the format. Kudos to the card designers here for basically saying, look, we've got to hit Jango. Jango's too good. But yeah, when we do that, Han 1 is just going to jump in. Maybe we do something about Han 1 while we're here. Is it going to work? Don't know. We've got a couple of weeks until Richmond, which is going to be the last of the sector qualifiers, and then we got regionals after that, and we'll see how it shakes out. For now, I'm a little bit excited, and I for one enjoy this. I like when the card designers, when the company running the game care enough to go, that could be a little bit of a problem, let's fix it. Are people going to be annoyed that they've made this Jango deck and bought the cards for the Jango deck, and now it's not good and can't be played anymore? Yes. Obviously they are. There's probably a few people out there that have bought their Jango Fett showcases and they're now very upset about this. And the answer is, yeah, sorry about that. But a healthy play environment makes it more fun for everybody. And I got to tell you, in Liverpool this weekend, I spoke to a lot of players and I heard the same phrase over and over again, which is, I love playing this game, but I don't like playing against Jango. So the ban hammer's come down, the suspended list has been updated, now you know everything you need to know, and now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about these suspensions, do you agree with them? Would you have hit these as hard? What about Tarkintown? We didn't hit Tarkintown. Apparently that's not a problem. Guess we'll see in the future. For now, I want to know what you think about all of this in the comment section, so go nuts! Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wasi. That's where we talk about Star Wars Unlimited and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.